Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. The gateway is Gateway Gateway 10, Seshet, a sacred time. Okay? So I don't think I came through for Gateway not 9, Nefer Atam, but stuff's been going on. Sorry, I'm just taking my hair down. I had a dream and I want to document it and share it. So, in short, I had a dream that I was raped. I had a dream that somebody broke into my apartment, and my apartment looked different than my place. It looked different than my actual place, but somebody broke into my home. A man, he raped me, and then he got basically like he kind of moved in and was just like, oh, I'll be back, I'll see you later, I think we should really try to work this out. And I'm like, what do you mean, like, you just raped me? So he left, and then I was like, I'm hearing other noises. There were other people in my house that must have came with him. And so there was like someone in my living room watching TV, and then there was some girl in my bedroom, because apparently like the bedroom was like really big. I was like, this was a nice ass place. Was like doing something, making noise, and I'm like, can you go somewhere else? Like, why are you here? And she was just like looking all dumb. And so finally, the dream was also disturbing. So it already is disturbing to have a dream where you were raped. Thankfully, I have never been raped in real life, but it's still like, whoa, what's going on? So there's that. And then the dream also felt really real. I forgot that I was dreaming. So that was the other part that was very disturbing, is that I really felt like I was in it, and I really felt stuck. I felt stuck, and I felt like I was not in control, which is often what these dreams represent. They usually don't necessarily represent an actual rape. Maybe I would say if you were raped before, it could potentially mean like unresolved feelings from that, but it's going to be unique to each person. But for me, I know, because when I interpret dreams, I often pay attention to how I was feeling in the dream, and that's usually what it is projecting, how I am feeling about something in my waking life. It's all about symbolism. So there was that, feeling stuck, and the other reason why I felt stuck is because the guy who raped me, he left and he took my keys. And so for me, keys represent my personal power. So whenever I feel like my keys have been taken, I feel like I lost some of my power. I've lost some of my control. And I thought about, where I'm feeling powerless, or where I'm feeling, kind of stuck. Because that was the other part, is that I felt stuck, right? Because I was like, these people have just like moved in my place, and I'm like, get out. Like, you can't be here. And it's like, I'm working and paying all these bills, and y'all just loafing around like chilling. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, is it the guy that I'm seeing right now? Do I feel powerless in this situation? So I do pendulum work. I work with pendulums a lot. And so sometimes if I want additional confirmation, I will work with the pendulum to read energy as well. But deep down in my gut, I was like, no, I don't think that this is about him. Even though you would think with a rape, it could signify, a relationship, but not always. And in this case, a part of me was like, I don't think it's about him, because I don't feel powerless in this situation. I just don't. At least right now, I don't. And hopefully I never do, but I don't. So I was like, no, I don't think so. And the pendulum confirmed that. It was like, no. It definitely was like, this is not about him. This is about something else going on in your life. So I was like, okay. So I start thinking about, well, where else sometimes do I struggle with feeling not in control, or feeling like my power, like I've given my power away. And what came up was work. Oftentimes I do, and I don't know that it's necessarily even particularly the job that I'm at right now. I think overall throughout my whole professional working career, there have been times and instances where I felt I gave my power away. And there's different politics and things like that, that as a Black woman in corporate America is a different game that we have to play, because we want to keep our jobs. And, you know, for me, if you're familiar with a term called stereotype threat, subconsciously for a long time, I did not want to fit into certain stereotypes, especially the angry Black woman stereotype. So there are definitely times when I feel that I wasn't treated either fairly or professionally, and I silenced myself because I didn't want to come off as the angry Black woman or be gaslit, essentially, because I saw that a lot too. You know, women who definitely were made to feel like they were the problem when in reality the company was. But it's one of those things where you need a job, and so what do? You know, do you say something and risk losing your job and having to find a new one? Or do you suck it up and look for a new job and move on? But, you know, until you find that new job, you have to endure all of that. So I'm giving all that background because basically I was being shown there are times, like in your professional life, your professional career, that you are still struggling with feeling like you are in control. So another example is I am an introvert. I guess an introvert slash ambivert, but for the most part, I skew more towards introversion. I'm not a person who just talks for the sake of talking or to sound important or to, you know, I really talk when I feel like I have something to add to the conversation. And if I don't, I'm just quiet. And that is fine, right? But for some people, especially very extroverted people, and again, working in corporate America, that sometimes can be seen as you're not, not that you're not engaged, but that you are not, like, you're not a leader. You're not leadership because you're not out there pushing your opinion. You're not cutting people off when you're talking, you know. I'm a person, if someone's talking, I listen. I'm one of those people that I will really listen. Whereas, you know, some people will cut you off kind of in mid-sentence because they have something to say and they have to get it out. I'm not that kind of person. And so I think sometimes that can be interpreted different ways. And I think that for me, sometimes I feel like that is giving my power away because people think just because I'm quiet that I don't have any thoughts or opinions about things, and so they don't ask. So it's kind of like people start to talk over you. And, you know, there are times in my career where I went on the other end of the spectrum and thought that I needed to be more like them in order to have my voice heard, and that felt very unnatural to me. It didn't feel authentic to me. But it got me to a place where I was looking at myself thinking that I was lacking in different areas when really I just have a different personality. I have value to add. I'm good at what I do, but my way of communicating is different. And so I think that there is a situation at work right now. It's not a bad situation, like, at all. But what is happening is it's an opportunity for me to grow. And it also gets me to ask the question, what is control like anyway? And is this also a dismantling of a belief, a limiting belief that I have had a long time about the illusion of control and having control? And what is that, you know? So I almost think too that the dream could also be about surrendering in different ways. And like, are you really in control? Like, what is that? if you're in a state of being and you're in tune with life, you're in flow with life, you're moving downstream, you're in harmony with life and adjusting and adapting and, you know, being your authentic self, but you're really being. You're not doing, you're not trying, you're just being. Is there a need for control? If you're just being and you're aligned with source, is there anything to control? So I think it's like a combination of those two things, but I think that the more I'm talking this out, I think that there is a part of it that is me confronting my beliefs about the illusion of control and personal power, and what is that, and have my definitions about control and personal power, have they been given to me by somebody else, or are they definitions that I have created for myself? And that is definitely where I'm at in my journey right now. I have been questioning everything and saying, is this true for me? Or did I just adopt this because somebody else told me? Rather it was my parents, rather it was an expert, rather it was a professional. Did I believe it for me, or did I believe it because somebody told me that I should? And that is also feeling like you're not in control of things, because basically everything that you thought you knew and believed just implodes. It comes crashing down because it felt so real all that time, and then with the blink of an eye and a change of one thought, everything that you thought you knew, that illusion goes away. And it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, what do I do with this now? So it almost makes me think that it's also like about that too for me. Yes, feeling like I'm not in control, but also questioning for myself, what is control? Because I'm telling you guys, I'm questioning everything. What is happiness? What is love? Not, you know, and like, who taught me what happiness was, or who told me what it was? I chose to believe it, obviously, right? I made a decision to believe it, but what is true for me now? Because I can recognize that somebody else gave that to me and that I decided to adopt it, but now I'm so aware that somebody else gave it to me and I decided to adopt it. So what am I going to give to me and adopt? Like, what does it mean to me? Yeah, the more I'm working this out, it really is talking to just how I'm feeling right now. But I do think it is about the work situation a little bit. So I have to do my work and work through that, which I'm not really worried about. I'm not really worried about, because it's the journey. It's the journey. Like, we all have shit that we're down here learning. And I don't judge myself for my journey as much anymore. And I'm thankful for that. I have so much more grace with myself, because I'm like, you came here to learn this shit. You didn't come here to be like perfect. You came here to learn this shit. So just learn it. Be on the journey. So I'm on the journey, doing the work. But I definitely think that there's a big piece that I just worked through on here. And that, is control real, or is it an illusion? And if it's an illusion, having that awareness that it's an illusion, you know, how will I navigate the world differently? Because I know that it's not really real, you know? And how do I catch myself quicker when I find myself trying to, you know, go back into the illusion of power and control? And is it really real? Fun stuff going on over here, but wanted to share and document that. And yeah, so until the next video, stay fly, stay flourishing.